Good evening and welcome to Silverstone GP for what will be round 2 of the NXGN Powermaxed Group A1 League. And tonight everyone is in the wonderful BMW M1 Procar round the home of British motorsport. As Fast joins the lobby. Got a 10-minute qualifying followed by a 25-minute-ish race down into laps. So I think we're looking probably about 12-13 laps of racing. But the drivers we have tonight are DY House 7, obviously GT5 Vass has just joined. Bob Mark 1, Four Fish, NXGN Les, Cam 123 Diz, Bruce Lee Harding, NGR Tim 78, Traumatic Dave 88, Shallow Stalker, NXGen Bean Flicker, others known as web user Johnny. He has fulfilled his lifelong dream of becoming a fall guy and renaming himself as a Bean Flicker. He'll be hoping not to fall down the order though tonight, as he looks to make inroads towards the mid of the pack. Rally Matt, our current championship leader, winning last time out at Donington Park National. He'll be looking for another strong result tonight. And finally our host, Jack TM53 Synopsis, is also here. Silverstone, built in 1948. The general layout of the circuit, obviously the layout has changed, but where the corners are situated haven't really changed that much. Still using those old little roads, obviously being resurfaced over the years, but generally the same setup and layouts. This particular version, this is the Silverstone GP with the new pits, has been around since 2010. They didn't start using the new pits till 2011. It's 3.66 miles long and should cause absolute brilliant racing. Plenty of opportunities to overtake. You see Jack just slows down. We just have to stow. We'll go. Where's Matt? Matt already gone through. Let's go on board here with Jack. And see. So I'm going to cross the line up towards Abbey. A flick right-hander. We will be hitting the brakes in this car. No, just a lift instead. As Jack runs it close to the edge. Through farm and up towards village. Hit the brakes about 50 metres. Down to second. Jack just about stopping it in time to clip the apex. We then head into the loop. Out of the loop into Aintree. A flat left-hander. On there onto the Wellington Straight. All the way down, they're going to hit the brakes around 75 metres, 50 metres potentially there for Jack. For Brooklands, he's on the late turn in. And then that transpires into Luffield, almost double apex right-hander. You can keep it tight like Jack's doing, or you can try and square the corner off by clipping the first apex, going a bit deeper, squaring up and hitting the second apex whilst full throttle. Woodcut, a flat right-hander. Then you head up towards the old first corner of Cops. What does Jack do? Down to third, just to get the front end to turn in, back to the throttle. You then head up towards Maggots and Beckett's. You flick it left, it's a flat left. Lifting and slight braking through the right, and then you head into Beckett as you now just gradually slowing the car down. Not quite the ideal line there for Jack, not quite tight enough through the left hand, the first part of Beckett's, but he'll get away with it through Chapel Curve and up the Hanger Straight. Once you get to the top of the Hanger Straight, you're going to head to Stowe Corner. It's a 207.1 to beat from, I believe that might be Les. Third gear through Stowe, bring it to the right as you then head down towards the Vale Chicane. Looking left, Flick it right, and then club corner should be flat. At 207.9 from Jack. He's going to lose the back end through Abbey and Farm. And that'll be him back to the pits. Cam now the fastest man at 2.2 minutes is 07.0 right now. So in respect to the tables, whilst everyone's doing their qualifying runs, it is going to be Randy Matt who is leading this league on 22 points from D Whitehouse on 18. Full Fish has 15 points with NXGN Les on 13. Jack also has 13. Cam has 11. Johnny 10. Bruce Lee Harding on 9. Vass on 8. Shadowstalker 7. Bob Mark 1 on 6. Tim on 5. Traumatic Dave 4. And Ultimatum on 3. Others start to continue coming through for their times. Traumatic Dave currently in 7th place, getting on fairly well. There's Bruce in the number 36 machine. He's got a 209.0 under his belt. But it is currently Les who leads the way now at 206.5. Time's just getting quicker and quicker. There is Cam at 206.8 right now. Number 23 machine, Full Fish. Just coming through Beckett's onto the Hangar Straight. He is up on his time currently. Not yet enough to make it up any more places, but still has the final sector to go up towards Stowe Corner. Down to the Vale Chicane. He's going to get one more chance. Here's Full Fish. Into club. And throttle on as much as possible across the line. Just go quicker. Can't improve his position though. 207.0. And Les just goes even quicker at 206.2. Man is a machine right now. Cat 123 Deers coming through the Vale Chicane. He's got traffic in front of him. Crosses the line, does go quicker, but yet again can't quite match Les. Les is absolutely flying right now. Bruce up to 4th at 207.0 for him. Jack is just coming around. That's Ronnie Matt. He has finished his qualifying. GT5 Vass currently on a 2 minutes 8.0, looking to improve that time severely, really. You must expect Gary to be nearer the top 5 there. He's not far off, but what's this latest lap do? Not a lot. He's going to get one more chance. Jack will be probably the first person to finish qualifying. In terms of finishing a lap, as the time is now run out. He's come up to the Vale Chicane. He's gone very quickly into it. Managed to get a nice bit of turning through the left-hand up, through club. Has to keep it pinned, surely. Up to third. Leaving it as late as possible. He does improve to a 207.3, putting him 5th at the moment. Fish coming up to the line now. He heads down to the Vale chicane. Through club he goes, and the time for Fish. He does improve to 2nd place. Les has abandoned his latest lap. Fish up into 2nd. Bruce Lee Harding about to finish his final lap. I think Vass has abandoned his current lap as well. Bruce Lee Harding does improve, but again, can't improve his position. Here comes Bean Flicker, otherwise known as Johnny. He does not improve. And Bob Mark 1, near the end of the session, what can he do? We will never know until the screen comes up. So, Les takes pole position from Fish, a great time of 206.2, but Fish right on his tail along with Cam, the top 3 separated by less than 0.2 of a second. Bruce Lee Harding joins Cam on row number 2. Row 3 is Jack and Rally Matt. Row 4, Vass and Bean Flicker. Row 5, Traumatic Dave and D. Whitehouse. Row 6 is Shadowstalker and Bob Mark 1. And NGR Tim 78 will be starting on his own on row number 7, rounding out our grid. I haven't had a little bit of a talk before we get going. And there's a phenomenal time. It is fairly close. I mean, the top 7 covered by 2 seconds on a 3.6 mile circuit. It's a fairly tight set of times. We're now prepared to go racing once again this season. We have 3 red lights. We are green at Silverstone. D. Whitehouse has disconnected, which is a shame. So we're down to 12. And collision already off the start line. That looked like Bruce Lee Harding. Off the line. Les will lead into turn number 1. And a cameraman, we've got Jack at the back. So Jack's gone round. That's Cam off the circuit. But Fish, it looks like other than this start line, we've all got away cleanly. There is Jack at the back. And Beam Flicker, so maybe something happening on the grid. Not ideal. Bruce Lee Harding, though. So he started the 11 laps here at Silverstone. Having to look behind him early as he's got a Vass and Traumatic Dave. Traumatic Dave, is he down the inside of Vass? Yes, he is. He's down the inside. He's on the outside for Luffield. Squeezes Vass to the apex. Won't make it stick, but Dave looking racy already. Through Copse Corner for the first time. There is Beam Flicker, he's past Shadowstalker, past him. There is the number 1 car of Jack TM53. So obviously he's got a lot of work to do. He's now 7 seconds off the lead, which belongs to Les. Cam is now starting to pressurise Fish through the Maggots Beckett's complex. Into Chapel Curve and down the Hanger Straight. That's a good run for Cam. Can he get back in that slipstream, make it work up into Stowe? It's going to be a hard move into Stowe, but it is doable. He looks to the inside. Yes, he fires it down the inside, does Cam. Good move. And Fourfish can't quite switch it back, ready for the Vale chicane. So Cam, nice late braking manoeuvre into Stowe. Now he's free to go after Les. Although Fourfish looking down the inside a little bit, but deciding better of it. There's your current league leader, Rally Matt. He's down in 8th place right now. Beam Flicker, he fell. He fell early on, but he's starting to get back up. Into the second lap of this race. Cars go up through the loop. Jack's a bit wide through farm into village. And that is running. Matt has gone even wider. So Matt's... And there's Bob. So people having issues into village hairpin. Then I go through the loop and towards Aintree. Shadowstalker's had an issue as well at the back. He's lost a lot of time. Maybe just had a bit of a spin. At the front though. And Cam is closing in on Les. Through Woodcut, down towards Copse Corner. So you just see the line Cam's able to take a lot nicer, and he's able to get on the power earlier. We're now only 2/10 behind the leading BMW. Through Maggots into Beckett, and you can just sense Les is just not quite as confident as Cam is. Cam, oh, that's an interesting line from Cam, trying to line it up for Hanger Straight, but he's actually ended up losing more time than it was probably worth trying to get that position. Meanwhile, Vass has now overtaken Bruce Lee Harding for 4th place. These two probably looking now, work together, get up towards the top 3. There is Bob. Jack, he is looking to try and get up to Beam Flicker. Beam Flicker, obviously, we're going to call him Johnny anyway, so Johnny, he's trying to catch Johnny. Johnny just having to... He's got a nice little gap to Jack, really. He's got about 8/10 of a second there. As Jack goes wide through Abbey. Pushing it, and he's lost the back end through Village. Well, probably before Village, through Farm. He's gone away with it, but Running Matt back up into 8th place. Jack is not enjoying this right now. And it's something he could do without. He tries to make his way back through the field onto lap 3. Down the Wellington Straight. Shadowstalker having a horrid time right now. Nearly 40 seconds off the lead. Cam still not quite able to mount an attack yet, but Jack is all over the back of Rally Matt, and as I say that, he just loses the rear end through Luffield. That car very tail happy right now for Jack. He's not going to be happy inside that cockpit right now, the way that car is driving. Meanwhile, through the Maggots, Beckett's complex, the leaders go, and Cam 123 did. This time getting Beckett's correct. Looking for that slipstream down towards Stowe, where he made the move on Fourfish earlier this race. The front nose dive down as they hit the brakes into Stowe. And Cam gradually reeling Les back in. To the point he's right on his tail. On board the number 23 machine as we head through Club Corner. Up towards Abbey, we're looking at potentially making a move into Village. If Cam can get this set up correctly, although he's gone a bit wide, he's going to lose a bit of time there. Les that little bit tighter, less distance covered. Cam though, really looking for a way through But Les is doing a grand job of just keeping the gap where he needs it to be, so that Cam can't quite get any sort of overlap. Jack, I don't know what's happened to Jack, but he is now... Oh, there's Bob. I wonder if Jack and Bob maybe had a bit of a tangle together. Tim now ahead of them. Back to the front though, just 0.3 of a second separate the two leaders. Through tops they go. Just sense Cam's trying to carry more pace through the corners, whereas Les is just letting the car roll through on a tighter line. He's just able to keep that gap in check right now. Although that is a good run though from Cam through Chapel Curve onto the Hangar Straight, now 0.3 of a second. Less than that now as he heads down the Hangar Straight. And once again, Cam not close enough to make a move into Stowe. But if he can get this right, he could have a chance into the Vale chicane. Again, he's a bit wider than Les and it's cost him time. Cam needs to try and tuck the car in. Because right now, that extra pace he's carrying into the corner is actually costing him more time on the exit, as he just lines the rear wheels up a little bit. Fourfish has got Vass behind him, and Vass has brought Bruce Lee Harding, so Bruce is also looking at the pairing ahead, thinking if they start having a battle, he's got a chance of a podium this race. Meanwhile, Jack has got past Tim for 9th place. Tim's off, and the camera is really messed up because that would have been an interesting crash to watch into the barrier. But Tim's off. There goes Bob. So Tim now down to 11th place. 11 seconds ahead of Shadowstalker though. Oh, and he's gone round again. That's at the Vale chicane just before Club. It's all going horribly wrong for Tim, and Shadowstalker is going to start closing that gap now. It looks like Shadowstalker is having issues of his own as well. Meanwhile, that's a little bit wide coming out of left field, using a bit of extra curve that he probably didn't want to use. Into Maggots and Beckett's, and Vass is now under attack from Bruce, just behind. On board with Bruce Lee Harding. That's a spin for Fourfish. He's clipped the grass, clipped the curb through Chapel Curve. Fourfish has gone off, and it's going to cost him lots of time to the trackside as Bruce Lee Harding goes down the inside of Stoke corner on Vass. Side by side. They're going to keep it that way as they now head down towards the Vale chicane. I am conscious now that Cam has recaught Les. But into the Vale chicane they go, still side by side. Great racing from the pair of them, great respect. Just about a car's worth given from the pair. And Bruce Lee Harding moves up into the podium positions. Meanwhile, Cam 123 Days is now looking at the Les. Or should I say next gen Les. Looks to the outside village. Round the outside, he's going to make this work because he's got the loop next. Into the loop hairpin. And a beautiful move from Cam. Fantastically done around the outside of village to get the inside of the loop through Aintree. But I can assure you, Les is not going to take this sitting down. He will be coming after Cam hard and fast on lap number 6. Good line though from Cam, and it's meant that Les's lines compromised himself a little bit through Brooklands. Well, Vass is on the back of Bruce Lee Harding still. Fourfish has gone down to 8th place because of that spin. He's now 34.7 behind the leaders. He is absolutely miles down, and if he's not careful, he's going to start getting caught up by Jack TM53 Synopsis, who's only 3 seconds behind. Back with this battle though for the final podium spot. Bruce Lee Harding leading GT5 fast as they go through Maggots into Beckett's. Ever slowing the car down. Bruce a little bit quicker, but a little bit wider and tighter into the second part of Beckett's. Has cost him a touch of time there. Vass should in theory have the better run. But it doesn't look like it's going to be enough, and I think Cam's gone off somewhere. I think Cam went off in the Beckett's complex because he's now 3.1 behind Les. There goes Les in your full picture. So Cam, after taking the lead, has lost it again. Got a lot of time to find now, so 3 seconds in the space of just 6 laps. Actually, 5 laps to find 3 seconds, Cam. That's going to be a hard task to do. We continue to watch this battle for third place between Bruce and Vass into Village. Bruce defending nicely into there. And look like Vass has got it slightly wrong. It's cost him a bit of time, so he's not going to get him down through Aintree and down the Wellington Straight. I think Vass is not going to have to wait until the exit of Beckett, because although saying that, he's moved out to the inside as a bit of a look, trying a scare tactic to Bruce. That doesn't faze Bruce at all. Into Luffield, Bruce will keep it tight, just keeping it tight as he can, making sure he takes as little distance as possible. And once again, Vass not quite in range, heading up towards Copse Corner. So his next opportunity will be Stowe, unless Bruce makes the mistake through Maggots and Beckett's. Flick it left, flick it right, flick it left again. As they all start slowing the car down for the second part of Beckett's third gear. Looked like a good run from Bruce. It was a good run. He's actually increasing the gap through Chapel Curve onto the Hangar Straight. So Bruce now nearly half a second ahead of Vass. There's Jack. He's still about 3 seconds behind Four Fish. It's Tim there. Shannon's out. Shannon's only 11 seconds away from Tim. So if Tim makes a mistake, he'll be right there. But Bruce is now still keeping that gap at half a second as he cross the line onto lap 8. Vass still trying to just close him down as they head into Village, up towards the loop hairpin. Rally Matt has found himself in 6th place because it looks like Traumatic Dave has had a moment. He's lost a fair bit of time and the place. He's down to 7th, but he's still having a good race as Traumatic Dave. Just needs to keep on the black stuff at the moment. Again, Vass just can't quite get in range of Bruce to try anything. It didn't look great through Luffield, but I think Bruce was a little bit worse than Vass through Luffield. Woodcut up towards Copse. And it looks like Vass has got a nice run out of Copse Corner. Will he look into Maggots? I don't think he will. It's too risky. As long as he can stay within this 2/10 through the section, he should get a nice run down the Hangar Straight and up towards Stowe. But again, he's a bit wide and it's going to cost him. The gap back up to 4/10 of a second, which means no chance for Vass to get near Bruce into Stowe Corner. Getting quite hard this for Vass. Through the left-hander, up towards Village. And I think Jack's had another issue because he's dropped off by about another 5 seconds by the looks of that to Fourfish. This really is where the battle is. Fourfish is gradually closing in on Traumatic Dave. Slowly but surely. Ninth lap of 11, and the gap between Bruce and Vass is increasing up to 7/10 of a second. Bruce handling the pressure well, but the interesting fact here, Cam has been going quick, a 2:06.4 compared to a 2:07.9 that is for Les. Les is losing bucket loads of time right now. That was 1.5 seconds last time around. So has Les hit tyre wear, or has he just been a little bit more sensible and it's cost him the lead he once had? Cam is going to be right on his tail, going down the hanger straight up towards Stowe Corner. We know Cam enjoys a good move into Stowe. A little bit far back for now, but 2 laps remaining. Cam has the potential to nick this win. Vass still on the tail of Bruce Lee Harding going down the Vale chicane. Both put it in. And again, Bruce Lee Harding just keeping that second, that gap around half a second. And Shadowstalker now within 7 seconds of Tim, so if Tim makes a mistake, I think Shadowstalker, they might have a bit of a fight on their hands, shall we say. Heads through, but we're going to go back to the leading duo because they are now side by side through down Wellington Straight towards Brooklands. Cam on the inside, this is for the lead. He's got the move done, the back end's just a little bit twitchy, but he's held it just about as they head into Luffield Corner. And now Les looking to get the better run. He's practically pushing Cam through the corner. Looks to go to the inside, can't quite make it as Cam gets the power down. Through would cut up towards Copps Corner. Cam goes defensive, Les goes to the outside. Cam just about leaving a car's width if Les was there. Down to Maggots and Beckett's we go. Less than a tenth between these two. You can see Cam just trying to keep it tighter now. Rolls are reversed. Cam needs to keep it nice and tight. But Les needs to do the same to keep up with him. Down the hanger straight now, nearly half a second between the two. Into Stowe Corner. And Cam may have this settled, but this is not yet settled. Between Vass and Bruce Lee Harding, they are nose to tail going through Stowe Corner. Down towards Vale chicane. We have a bit of a battle as Fourfish has made it past Traumatic Dave, so Dave down to 8th place now. Back to the battles on the podium though, and looks like Vass has got a good run coming out of Club Corner. He's down the inside of Abbey. Oh, they're going to go side by side through the fast right-hander, through Farm, up towards Village. Oh, bit of a side contact there between Bruce and Vass, but I think they're still side by side into the Village hairpin. Up to the loop. Hey Parrot, this is the final lap of the race, so this is crucial for both men as they head through Aintree, down the Wellington Straight, and immediately Bruce goes defensive. Not even chancing it going down to Brooklands. Can Vass maintain it around the outside though? Racing room given through Luffield. Oh, and Bruce tried to cut back in. And Vass was already there. Vass is through into third place. I hate to say it, but I think because of what happened through Luffield, Bruce does not have a chance to get back. Unless Vass makes the mistake in the last third of the circuit. I don't think Bruce was expecting Vass to still be there. Oh, hello, that's Les. Les has lost the back end out of Chapel Curve. Here comes Vass. Here comes Bruce Lee Harding. Vass goes through. Can Bruce Lee Harding capitalise coming up towards Stone? I don't think he quite can. Les might just about keep his podium place here. But we're going to focus on this man, Cam. 1, 2, 3 days. I think Tim is now waiting because Cam wins at Silverstone. Fantastic victory for him. Vass is going to claim second place after a late mistake from Les. Sees him in third. Bruce Lee Harding comes home in fourth. Johnny, otherwise known as our fall guy of NXGN Bean Flicker. He's going to come home with a top 5. He's going to be delighted with that one. Rally Max will be in 6th, but we've got still got a bit of a tussle here for 7th because somehow Traumatic Dave has got back past Fourfish. Fourfish right on his tail into the Vale chicane. I think Traumatic Dave's going to hold this. He's a little bit wide. Fourfish looking to the inside, can't quite get there. Dave closes the door, and it will be Traumatic Dave who wins that battle. Takes 7th place. Fourfish is in 8th. Jack, I think he's going to be very disappointed in this race. He had I don't know what happened at the start, but he obviously ended up not getting off the line very well. 9th place, I think he's not going to be very happy with that, I'm afraid. Bit of a disappointing result for Jack, the reigning champion. Bob Mark 1, he'll claim 10th, a great race by him. He had quite a few moments, did Bob, but he'll claim another top 10 to add to his resume. Tim's already finished, he's in 12th. Shadow Stalker, it's fair to say it's been quite a hard race for Shadow Stalker. News in the pit lane, Jack's wheel almost fell off. I don't know whether that's the actual rim came off or whether the actual whole base almost fell off, but that's probably why Jack had that moment off the start line by the looks of it. Shadowstalker comes home to complete the race. Lap 9 he was one-handed, so that's interesting, but Cam does take the victory from Vass. Les, that late mistake costing him 2nd place with Bruce in 4th. Johnny will be in 5th with Rally Matt 6th. Traumatic Dave 7th. Fourfish is in 8th. Jack 9th. Bob Mark 1 10th. Shadowstalker 11th. And Tim rounds us out in 12th place. A great race. Some great battling going on between everyone. Yeah, fantastic to watch. But next week we head to Oschersleben GP, where it's a top 4 reverse grid. Everyone's back in their original cars. A top 4 reverse grid at Oschersleben. It's gonna be an interesting race, that one. So do tune in next week for that. Les, a fantastic fastest lap. He will get a bonus point for that because it is Turbo Monday at 2:05.5. What a time. But yeah, do join us next week for Oschersleben GP. Next up on the channel will be the Next Gen Season 18 Paramax TC V8 League from Silverstone National, so do stay tuned for that one. But for myself and everyone here at the Group A1s, thank you to Paramax for sponsoring the event and the league, and thank you guys for watching tonight. But for myself and everyone here, good night.